Today we're going to take a very quick look at some of the region's most interesting mines, and we're going to start with what was once the deepest gold mine in the world, at Victoria Hill. In 1908, Bendigo's Victoria Quartz Company mine had the world's deepest shaft at 1,365 metres. Today you can visit the famous Victoria Hill, where walking tracks take you on a journey around many fascinating ruins and relics, including a 20-head stamp battery. Lots of detailed information signs provide the site's history along the way. Now let's take a look over at Creswick, where the site of the New Australasian No. 2 mine stands as a memorial to one of the most tragic accidents in Victoria's mining history. On the 11th of December 1882, 41 men entered the New Australasian No. 2 mine to work a seemingly ordinary Monday night shift. In the early hours of the next morning, massive amounts of water suddenly flooded the mine from the old workings of the Australasian No. 1, trapping 27 of the men underground. Rescue efforts commenced immediately, but by the time the miners were reached 3 days later, only 5 had survived. The body of one man was still warm when it was recovered. This was a horrific disaster which resulted in many reforms in safety measures and procedures, and will be the subject of another more detailed video in the future. Meanwhile, if you'd like to learn more, head over to Sovereign Hill to take their brilliant underground mine tour named Trapped, which recreates the disaster and tells this tragic story using sound, projection, reflection, and special effects. Over at Clunes, we have the innovative Port Phillip and Colonial Gold Mining Company, one of Victoria's most notable quartz mining operations. It may be hard to imagine today, but this hillside was once dominated by engine sheds, poppet heads and tramways, and was home to one of the most advanced and innovative mining ventures of its time. This company invested heavily in equipment and research, amassing a great wealth from the quartz reefs which lay beneath this hill. They also pioneered some of the earliest attempts in Australia to treat pyrites for gold. I've got a video about quartz roasting which discusses this mine's operation in more detail. I'll put a link in the top right of this video as well as in the description below. Over in Chewton, the Wattle Gully mine was Victoria's premier gold producer in the late 1930s, and by an incredible twist of fate, the rich deposit was discovered by accident. One of the company's exploratory drills had been deflected to the west, striking a new gold deposit. Had the drill gone straight as was intended, one of Victoria's richest gold deposits could have been left undiscovered today. I do plan to make a more detailed video about the Wattle Gully mine as well, so if you're interested in this, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Now let's take a look at some of the early companies over at Ballarat. Mr. Harry Wood, District Mining Registrar, prepared detailed notes on the Ballarat goldfield, which shared some very interesting information about some of the companies working there. These two stood out as particularly interesting, but the entire paper is filled with notable introductions and developments of mining methods and technologies. The old Gravel Pits Company was working on 1,800 feet of the gravel pits lead. In order to work such a large claim profitably, manager Mr. Dewar prepared a model in 1857 demonstrating how trucks and cages with water tanks underneath for baling could be employed to great advantage. His plan was put into practice, and this was the first claim here which used trucks, cages and tanks. The new Constitution Company had 2 shafts, one here and one here, and they were working on the Golden Point lead. It was in their claim where the lead was found to have varied from its supposed course and turned at an almost right angle towards the Nightingale lead. This company was the first here to employ horses underground for hauling. Where horses were working underground, the space between the rails was sometimes metalled. The new Constitution Company also introduced flat sheets for turning trucks on, and they had a brick furnace below for ventilating the mine. Now, looking at William Birkmeyer's tabular record of nuggets, we see mention of one of the most significant early mines at Ballarat. The Red Hill Mining Company, a party of Cornish miners, discovered the famous Welcome Nugget up at Bakery Hill in 1858. At that time, it was the biggest ever found, and today it is still the second largest alluvial gold nugget ever unearthed. They found it at a depth of 180 feet and sold it in Ballarat for over £10,000. It was exhibited for many weeks in Melbourne, sold again, and by 1859 it had made its way to London, where it was melted down to make gold sovereigns. This brilliant lithograph was created in 1858 in celebration of the company's discovery. Well, thanks for watching this video. I hope you found some of these mining companies as interesting as I do. If you'd like to learn more about the fascinating history of the Victorian goldfields, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications.